Welcome to the World Cup of fountain pen snap caps. So today we are going to pick the best snap cap fountain pen in my collection, just based on the mechanism of the cap. So it's not about how well the pen's write, just about the quality of the cap. So few ground rules. We are going to start with 16 pens. So we're going to start with the elimination round. 16 because as I looked through my collection, there really wasn't much more than 16 pens that had really good snap caps. So we're starting with the elimination round. We'll do quarterfinals, semifinals, do the third place match, and then the finals. Before we start, let's meet today's referee. This is a Muji gel pen, so neutral. We're not related to any of our competitors. All right, so without further ado, let's get started. Match one is between the Pilot MR or Metropolitan and the Platinum Cool. So Metropolitan is a very crisp, very easy cap, very satisfying. The Platinum Cool is a stiffer cap, but it's more secure and it has the slip and seal mechanism. So actually we're starting out with a really tough battle. These two are really both quite good, but the winner is the Metropolitan. All right, so round two is between the Platinum Preppy and the Pilot Kakuno. Preppy, very familiar, hard plastic, nice and easy. The Kakuno, actually not much of a competition here. The Preppy has a slip and seal mechanism. I'm sure it holds the ink nicer, but the Kakuno is a much nicer capping experience. So this one goes to the Kakuno. So we have our first quarter-final match determined. All right, third match is between the Pilot Prera and the Platinum Plaisir. Prera, that's really nice. It is both crisp and very tight and very secure. This is pretty much the same as the Preppy. It feels a little bit different because the cap is metal, but fine, but nothing to write home around. No competition here. The Pilot wins it. Right, round four. The Waterman Hemisphere versus the Parker Sonnet. So Hemisphere is actually very crisp. This is nicer than I would have expected for this pen. Yeah, unfortunately it's going against the Sonnet, which is one of the best in the industry. Not much of a competition here. This is really nice, but unfortunately competition for it is tough in the first round. So we are going with the Sonnet. Round five, Lamy 2000 versus the Waterman Carene. If you've watched my other videos, I compared these pens earlier or in a previous video, but not directly their capping mechanism. The Carene is very nice, nice and crisp. The Lamy is not quite as crisp, but it's more sophisticated. It feels just that bit more premium. And again, tough competition. These two are both good, but the Lamy is significantly better. So going to do the Lamy 2000. All right, next one. Another battle within the same families, the Lamy Safari versus the Lamy Studio. If you watch my videos, you know I'm a big fan of the Safari. Started using that pen as my first fountain pen, but price notwithstanding, the Studio is far superior. It is a very tightly machined mechanism, very crisp, very satisfying. The Safari just feels kind of cheap. So this one, easy decision to the Studio. Right, moving right along, we have the Waterman Exception and the Pilot Lucina. Exception. This, I have to say, this feels cheap for the price of the pen. Fine, but it doesn't feel like it's a really premium. And oh, this is not a snap cap, so disqualified. All right, so because of the disqualification, the Waterman goes on to the next round. The last comparison from the round of 16, we have the Waterman Expert and the Cross Townsend. That is garbage. All right, the Townsend is garbage. It's a shame because this pen is actually fairly well balanced and easy to use. Cap is garbage. The Expert moves on to the quarters. All right, let's do our first quarterfinal match between the Pilot Metropolitan and the Pilot Kakuno. This is a bit of a family affair here. The Kakuno is a great pen for the $10 to $15 range, but no match for the Metropolitan. There's no question here. Metropolitan goes to the semis. Next one, the Pilot Prera versus the Parker Sonnet. The Parker is a very nice pen, assuming you get a real one. The Parker is very nice. The cap is very easy to use, feels very premium, but unfortunately it's just against one of the all-time greats. The Prera is just, even, you know, it's able to do this at a price point that is quite low, but this is one of the all-time greats in terms of capping. So this one, even though the Sonnet is quite good, there's just not much of a competition against the Prera. All right, next matchup is also a family ordeal. It's the Lamy 2000 versus the Lamy Studio. So the Studio, it's definitely the more, the tighter of the two. This one is machined to closer tolerances than the Lamy, the 2000. But the 2000 just feels that much more premium. So pretty close, but have to give it to the Lamy 2000. And the final quarter-final match between the Exception and the Expert. There's no match here. This goes to the Expert. The Exception is just a bit disappointing for the price of the pen. All right, now we have our semifinals. First match between families here, the MR or the Metropolitan against the Prera. Again, the Metropolitan's really good. I can't believe Pilot's able to do this for 20 bucks, but the Prera nudges it out. So the Prera is going to the finals, and the Metropolitan is going to the third place runoff. Now, between the Lamy 2000 and the Waterman Expert, this is a tough battle because the Waterman Expert is just about the crispest that you'll find in the entire industry, regardless of price. But the Lamy 2000 just has that sophistication to it, and it just has that premium feel of the click that nudges this one out. So the 2000 is in the finals. That gives us our third place match of the Metropolitan versus the Expert. And this is a battle of the crisp caps because neither of these are particularly sophisticated. And this one is just really down to which one is crisper. And when you put them back to back like this, no question, it's the Waterman. So Waterman wins the third place runoff. Now, the main event, the final, the Pilot Prera versus the Lamy 2000. And this is a tough one. This really is, these are two of the absolute best. And the Prera just feels, compared to the 2000, it just feels a little bit cheap. So just on the margin, your champion is the Lamy 2000. 2000. All right, so you have first place, second place, third. Cool. Hope that was fun, and have a great weekend.